guys like Blackman and Markel Martin upstairs, and they both just kind of, you ask them about their excitement level, questions along those lines, and they just really appear even keel. Is that just a testament to the way they are, or how much of that is you telling them take it, one play at a time, senior influence? What is that?
I don't tell them how to react. I think we try to instill in them what we think is important to have success. And when you play college football and in the season, the way things transpire now, I've said this over and over. You're going to play big games in the middle of the year, early in the year. We opened with a huge game. We couldn't get too high after that game. Maybe we did and didn't play very well the next week. So it goes like this. And I think that the players have to stay on an even keel. And as a coach, the one thing that always concerns us is, can they play at a high level each week, and what do we do to avoid a letdown? You worry about that for 12 weeks out of the season. And so our approach is preparation, hard work, understand the game plan, play hard, as I said, repeat myself now, and play the next play. That's all you can do.
How much does it help, I guess, that kind of, if you got that from those guys going into a game like this? In other words, keeping your emotions in check.
Well, certainly this is a very emotional game, and if you're playing out there and you're not poised and you're not thinking and everything's going different directions, then there's a chance you're not going to perform very well. And so I think you play with emotion between the white lines after the snap and before the whistle, or till the whistle blows. But you certainly don't want anything to carry over into playing out of control. And fortunately, we have a number of players on both sides of the ball that have a good demeanor. And because of that, it gives them a chance to think things through, and when the ball's snapped, to react. And then if, in games you're going to have good plays and bad plays. And if you get tied up too much one way or the other, then you're probably not going to play well for the rest of the game. So it's good that those guys can handle themselves and stay poised.
Can you comment on the impression Russell Okung leaves you as he gets ready to leave this program, as not only a football player but as a person?
Well, if you had, if my boys could grow up to be like Russell, and I'm not talking about 6'6", 320, I'm talking about just as a person. Russell's graduated. He's here now be 3.5 years, and I'd say there's a really good chance he's going to get picked really high in the draft. But more importantly, you never hear anything about Russ. Never shows up on class miss. He's been a great leader for us. When we've had some difficult times here 3 years ago, he never turned his back, never became a clubhouse lawyer. He stayed on the straight line and did everything he could to help the program, which in turn, as we always say, if you just do something to help somebody else or help the team, you're going to benefit as an individual. And now he has.
He also could have left. There was talk about
could have left.
And he
but
decided to stick with it.
One thing you'll find out, it was interesting, I was talking on the phone to a Pettigrew driving home last night, because he had gotten the game-winning catch, and so I thought, we'd talk to him, give him a hard time, because, he's just sitting in his, 5,000 square foot apartment with no furniture by himself. That's what he does, And when we saw the route, we knew he ran the route wrong because he got in a hurry and he came out too quick, and they threw it and he just snatched it like he always did anyway. And it held to be true that he got in too big a hurry and ran the route wrong. They just forced it in there and he just grabbed it. But Brandon loved his time here at Oklahoma State. They like living in Stillwater. They like the way that they've been treated, and Russell's the same way. You'd have to ask him, but I've heard him say this. He likes his coach. He likes the system. He likes living here, and he had a chance to graduate and finish his college career. He can go out there in the real world and get into what we're all into. There's no rush for that. He ought to stay here as long as he can. And he was give or take, a late first round to second round pick, depending on who you asked. Well, now he's going to become probably a pretty high pick. And so if you look at it from a monetary standpoint, he made himself a lot of money, guaranteed.
What do the NFL people say about him that you've heard?
They like him. They like him a lot because I think the trend in the NFL is moving more to college from the standpoint that they want guys they can trust, guys they can rely on. And with the new commissioner and what he's doing with the off-the-field incidents, a guy like Russell's stock goes through the roof.
Mike, we've seen throughout college football this year, teams lose their quarterback, the house is on fire. You struggled mightily the other night, but you still got a victory. How tough is it to win?
Well, our house was on fire for a while. We had a good fire service because they put it out, but it was on fire. I agree with you.
Why is it so difficult to win when you have to make a quarterback change on the fly?
Well, in our opinion, is just reps. It's the one position where it's hard to rotate two guys in and get them quality work, and just the rhythm and the reliability of. For example, I'll just speak for us, a guy that had played 35 games. I mean, it's basically, if you go back to the old days, for 3 years around here, go back to the old days, played 10, 11 games a year. For 3 years around here, we only had one guy taking snaps, basically, with the ones. And then when he's not in there, it somewhat changes your game plan. You don't have enough time to really adjust for the most part. And then there was some shock with the players, and that's just the way it is at the quarterback position.
Coach, you guys started last week, and had some things not come ball, especially consistent defense improvement, maybe from those.
Oh, no question. Yeah, turnovers in any game. We were 4 down in this last game, I think. You just give the other team a chance to. You only get so many opportunities. If you get 15 and obviously you give them 4, you're at 11, they're at 19 opportunities to score. So your percentages change dramatically. And when you turn the football over, you essentially take yourself out of a game. And then when you turn it over versus a team that's really talented, it's very difficult.
Mike, you guys won there in 01. You've taken a lot better teams down there and haven't fared as well since. They haven't lost a lot of games at home, obviously. What was special about that year, and what makes that such a tough place to play?
Well, first off, is they've had I don't know how long has Coach been there, Stoops. 11 years. I mean, they've been pretty good. That's one reason it makes it pretty tough to play. Second reason is they've got some guys who can run around and make some plays, and I don't. That question came up this morning. This year, why are they playing so much better at home than the road? I mean, you have to ask them that. But I think the 01 game was unusual from the standpoint that everything went our way in the second half, and in the latter part of the first half, I think we had 2 field goals of over 50 yards in somewhat dreary, rainy, cold conditions. And it kind of went our way, and then we hung in there and stopped them, and then hit a couple passes, and we were in the game. Then hit the Fields to Woods a couple times. TD makes a great catch over Roy Williams. So that's why we play the game, is because the good thing about it is you never know what's going to happen, and that's why you prepare, you work hard, you let the players go out there and give it everything they have.
With the BCS Bowl out there, is your program on track now where you want it to be, or is it ahead of time?
Well, last year I was saying it's ahead of time, and so I don't know what the correct answer or response is to that, but we feel very good about the internal part of our program. And what I mean by that is the level of your play will depend on the number of prospects that you sign that potentially have enough talent to play in the NFL. Those guys change your record. If you're a 6 or 7 win team and you get 2 or 3 NFL players, you now become a 9 or 10 win team potentially, because guys can make plays. That's just the way it is. So, but the internal part of our football program now, with the structure we have and the continuity with the staff and the players and strength conditioning, academics, all that tied in together, which is so big, and then you tie in the opportunity to recruit to a new facility, we feel very good about right now.
The fact you were able to overcome so many things this year, doesn't that show that, I guess, the depth is finally there?
It's not there yet for what we would want to, where we're comfortable with a guy going out and another guy going in and just continue forward. But we get a little bit better each year, and that's why it's so vital in recruiting that we try to make the best decisions possible to keep the young men in our program, and as they develop over 2 or 3 years, you have some comfort with putting them in the game, and that it doesn't just bring shock to your system. But we're getting there. It's an ongoing battle. It's not something that's easy to do, and I think the importance is the assistant coaches and decisions they make on the road in recruiting and evaluating a young man and how important football is to him. So he'll be in your program for 4 or 5 years. You keep enough of those guys around that eventually you get it going and up and running pretty good.
Mike Sexton hasn't had any much luck having intercepted rule in his favor. Don't you think he's due for one now? He kind of joked about that today.
I'd like for him to get a couple interceptions. If anybody deserves it, it's him. He's another really good guy, a class individual that comes from a great family and has had the good values instilled in him and has done everything we've asked him to do. The guy's played hurt for a month. He's actually starting to get a little healthy now. But you can't, you wish just a number of good things to happen for a guy like that.